It's May the 25th, and this is my first breakfast at 5:27. Let's get this over with. It's terrible. Cat is still yelling. It's been days. What's wrong? At first I thought it was in heat, but it doesn't sound like in heat kind of yowling. James is right, it sounds unhappy. I think I take my time shaking the spoon just to not drink this stuff. So bad. But very good for me. Here, that's my morning disgusting juice. I'm gonna enjoy a coffee. So it's funny. So yesterday, out of the blue, James just said to me, I wonder how many hours I've spent folding laundry in my life. And now, I took it one way, but it could be taken both ways. I'll share both. Anyway, what I said to him was like, yeah, sometimes I've thought about how much time I've spent sweeping or whatever, and it's just, folding laundry's worse, right? Like I took it as kind of like this with me. At one point when I was young, like my mother, when she washes clothes, she takes it right out of the dryer and she irons it, and it's like where are you finding wrinkles on stuff out the dryer? It pretty much does it itself, right? But she irons. And my sister is also very into ironing. They like their clothes very pressed, and I'm sure they can tell a difference because they spend a lot of time ironing clothes that to me looks absolutely wrinkle-free. And there are points in my life when I look at clothes that I'm putting on and I'm like, wow, that's really, really wrinkly. And then I put it on and I wear it anyway, because honestly, it doesn't matter that much to me. I did own an iron for a while, and I used it for artwork, like ironing wax crayon pictures. So I do kind of miss my iron for that, but not for ironing clothes. And so anyway, when James said that to me about the folding laundry, I thought, yeah, he's come to this conclusion, and now he's just gonna heap it on the sofa like me, or on, like, for a while there, like I was just cleaning out my spare room, cleaning it up the other day, the day that I hurt my back because I was doing too much. It's easy to do too much when you're doing things like house cleaning. Anyway, so vacuuming's hard. It hurts the back. But anyway, so I was cleaning up the spare room, and I had used that bed for years as my clean laundry hamper, because, well, it was a spare bed, right? And I didn't sleep in it, and hardly anyone ever comes over to use my spare bed, so it was a very good use for that space, and I think. Anyway, and it might get there again. It used to be that I had a clothesline, and I used to hang my clothes out on the clothesline, but it got, with my back, it got too hard to use the clothesline. It was just brutal. It just beat me up too badly every time. So I had to break down and get a dryer, and you know what? I love the dryer. I don't know if I could go back to the clothesline if they fix my back ever, because it's really easy, and I know it wastes energy. But anyway, so I was cleaning out the spare room. You know what, at 5:30 in the morning, can you expect better from me? So I was cleaning out the spare room, and I had heaped up a bunch of things, like I wasn't using the spare bed for piling laundry anymore because the dryer's downstairs, and that didn't make any sense to me. So my clean clothes just stayed in the basement, and that made a lot more sense to me. So I was putting it on the hide-a-bed sofa down there, which again, we hardly were ever using. So that became the new laundry place, and which I think worked out great. Anyway, I did fold laundry there for a while, just for it to be neat, but I don't really see much point to folding it either. So anyway, it heaps up, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So in the spare room, it had heaped up on the bed, and then I had transferred my heap up laundry area to the basement sofa and abandoned the bed idea. And there was still clothes on there that I guess I'd forgotten about. Anyway, I ended up heaping up some jars that I'd cleaned for canning on there, and then I'd heap some other stuff on top of that. And I mean, it was really interesting. It was like some archaeological excavation. It was clean stuff, right? That I'd decided, oh, this is a clean space, and I was putting clean, but it was like layers and layers of totally unrelated different things that had gotten lost. Because, anyway, so now this morning I realized that James was probably not coming to the same conclusion that I was, and he wasn't, like, because I was like, wow, he's gonna get on board with this just heaping up laundry idea on the sofa, and awesome, you know, we're both on the same page here, and I can totally get behind that. And but this morning I realized no, that was not what he was saying. He was probably trying to drop the hint that he spends a lot of time folding laundry, and I spend none. So he was probably trying to say to me, fold some laundry. That could be. I'll have to ask him somehow. Anyway, so that was when I realized that this morning. A good giggle over it. I hadn't seen him. He disappeared. I'd seen him for a long time. He's been busy doing work with school. He's having a hard time with this. He has a hard time with computers. He said yesterday it took him 25 minutes to figure out how to turn the computer on. I really should help him with this stuff. Anyway. Oh dear. You know, the stuff is really user-friendly nowadays. I remember when they first came out, yeah, there was a bit of... I can't even really remember how they worked. I just remember it was not user-friendly at the beginning. It was... You had to type some weird stuff in to get started and stuff. What was it? Maybe somebody remembers. That was a long time ago. I could easily figure out what it was. Because it would be computer programming speak that you had to type into it, I bet. But now, it probably just, you type stuff in, and it translates it to what it needs to be. You know what I mean? It's been programmed in to do that probably. So I could probably figure out what it was pretty easily that you had to type in. But I don't remember, honestly. Poor cat. It's supposed to rain not until tomorrow, but then right while we were finishing our evening meal, it started raining, so I had to pull in all the bedding and stuff so I could sit on. It didn't rain much. I don't know that I had to pull in anything. It probably would have just evaporated right away. But it hadn't been listed in the forecast. Weird. I don't know. I mean, sweeping, there is a usefulness to that. Like, I will be sweeping this deck today because the wind was really blowing and it's messy. And it will look a lot better when I sweep it. But I just don't understand the point to ironing and folding laundry and stuff. I guess I don't really... I put the clothes on, and if it looks goodish, that's good enough, you know. I'm perfectly fine with that. It's just a second skin. What do you want from it? I don't know. I guess a lot of people spend a lot of time doing hair and makeup and whatever. And I feel like I'm ready for the day, you know. I probably put all of 30 seconds into this, and I feel pretty good about that. You know, the rest of the time that, like, I remember I had a friend in high school, and, you know, if we decided, just, like, say I called her up and I was like, oh, do you want to go for a coffee or whatever? Well, it wouldn't be, yeah, sure, see you there 15, whatever. No. It'd be, she'd say, okay, well, I'm not ready yet, but you can come over here. And I'd go over and sit, and, I don't know, look at her snake or something. And just wait, because a lot of my time has been spent waiting in my life, you know, and it's incredible. Like, I've, with my parents, everything was quite scheduled. and I have no problem with scheduling my time, right? Because that's how I was raised, so I could plan things out really well that way. Other people don't seem to have that skill. So when my plans involve somebody else, I end up waiting. So I've learned that that's the case, and I bring a book, and I'm always doing something, right? So it really doesn't matter that much. You just have to bring a good book. So, but it used to get me annoyed, and I used to think, wow, what a waste of time, because it was, but I just had to adjust. So, because you can't change other people. I mean, I was raised with two parents who were very organized. Like, they could put so much into each day. It was incredible. So I mean, I guess I was lucky that way, right? Or whatever. I mean, other people seem to have a lot of relaxing time, and this is it for me. You know, my morning coffee, that's lovely. Sitting. So my relaxing time is my eating time, so that's when I'm doing this with you. Because the rest of the time I'm very busy, and nobody wants to see that. People might want to see what came of the busyness. But anyway, my parents, busy from like before I was awake to after I was asleep. My mom only slept 5 hours a night. She's still convinced that that's all a person needs. And anyway, so I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, my friend. So my friend from high school, I had a few friends in high school. I didn't have any that, looking back on it, that actually were my friends, but I certainly thought they were then. It's funny how that is, you know. No, there was one that was definitely a friend. She was very nice to me. I don't know where she is now. She had lovely hair, the color of the sun. And there were some people that, you know, they were friends for a little while, and then they weren't. But, so, don't know, I had a lot of those. But, the friends that I thought were solid friends that I kept hanging around, I don't think they were friends at all now, but anyway. But the one with the hair, the color of the sun, she was lovely. She was a good person. I wonder whatever happened to her. You know, we were never really that close, but she was always good to me. Her parents were German, I think, and I don't know, I think her dad worked doing windows or something like that. I'm not really sure. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so this friend that would take forever getting ready, she would take, like, it seemed like 2 hours just doing her makeup. Honestly, it seemed forever. I don't know what she was doing. I guess it was some sort of a ritual for her, so she'd really take her time on that. But, wow, you know, by the time she was ready, I honestly didn't even feel like doing anything. It was like, okay, that was good enough time spent on this, you know, like, and she probably still doesn't. You know, the finished product was really nice. Like, some people look better with makeup on and others don't. And it's, you know, it's probably a function of how much time you put in, honestly, and whether you know what you're doing or not. And I never knew, so I don't actually look better with makeup on. And people have told me that. People have said, you should just not wear makeup, you know, when I try to put it on. know what I'm doing wrong. But she genuinely looked good when she was done. It was like a work of art, really, and she did a good job. So I don't know. But I just, now that I would tally that up at the end of the, if I was, well, she probably doesn't. She probably thinks it was time well spent. But for me, I'd be looking at that like ironing, folding laundry. I mean, to do it every night, once in a while, for like wig weather or whatever. Fun. But every day, ooh, so many better things I could do with my time. So I didn't get quite my 8 hours sleep. I got 6 hours, 58 minutes. It's a little bit cool out here this morning. I should have worn a scarf or something. I wonder what summers are like elsewhere. I sure love this weather. This week has been perfect. I love it. I love how the nights still are cool, so the house doesn't heat up. It's wonderful. I guess elsewhere the house would just heat up all the time like it does in the summer, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how it works out. Here in the summer it's really hot. And it stays hot at night, and then so it just builds and builds, right? You end up with your house being sometimes 32 degrees inside, and that's really hard to, I mean, it ends up, it's better outside than inside, because it just keeps building on the inside. As much as you try to cool it down. We used to put a fan in front of the door, push the heat out. And I might do that again, but it's such a waste of energy using a fan. But I suppose if it makes your living space livable. And I would only run that in the morning, like when it was cooler. But it's not cool here in the summer at night. Usually. Deal with the wasp nest. I was up early enough today. I can't do it now. Now I might actually risk hurting myself. Well, them hurting me by doing it. But yeah, there's a lot of things that wasp nest, like you could totally, if you know where it is, you can get it at 5 in the morning. Just scrape it off, put it in a bag, and close the bag. They're not going anywhere. So that's the time to do it. Or if you have a problem with forest caterpillars, you get up very early in the morning and you go and look at your tree, and they'll be pancaked on the side of the trunk, all together. They all cuddle together. I don't know why they do that, to keep warm, maybe. I don't know, but they do it. And so you go early in the morning, scrape the pancake off, problem solved. Just like that. Again, in a bag, closed bag, because they will crawl out of bag. And then, what good was that? But looks like it's going to be another breezy day. It's already, the leaves are blowing. You know, it's funny. When I first moved to Lethbridge, like I love to look up at the sky and watch birds and stuff. Anyway, so when I first moved here, I was looking up at the sky and I saw some bird flying, and I'm like, what in the world kind of bird is that? So it's something I like doing. So James bought me some bird books when we were first dating. He'd bring me books. He'd buy me, or we'd go to the bookstore and I'd be looking at a book and then he'd buy it for me. It's very nice. Or anyway, he worked so hard to try to impress me, and finally I just told him, you don't have to work. I'm impressed. Anyway, so I was looking up at the sky, and 20 years ago almost, and I noticed this white bird flying. I'm like, what in the world is it kind of bird? I noticed it was a bag. Here in southern Alberta, plastic bags fly through the air like birds. And this I have never seen anywhere else, and I've spent a lot of time in my life looking up at the sky watching birds. But so I mean, oftentimes there's one over there. I don't know if you can see the bag that's stuck in the tree. They could probably see that one. There we go. But yeah, these things, they end up stuck in trees. They've been flying through the air, and yeah, anyway.